Welcome back to the TowerCast Podcast, the towering podcast with the towering filmmaker of El Paso and the world. We are live from the Las Cruces International Film Festival, and it's been great. We've been chatting with a lot of people so far, and we have a very special guest. But before I go to our special guest, I have to introduce my fellow co-host. We have Mr. Michael Alao.
Welcome back to the Las Cruces International Film Festival.
Second year in a row. Second year in a row. We're back. We're back and hitting hard. We're going to have some special people to talk to. Lots of very special films, one of which is the opening film for tonight, what we're just going to talk about. Lots of great people in it, including our special guest. And then we have Mr. John Eric Castro.
I'm going to give you the acting perspective, acting questions.
Okay.
And I'm your, you guys are going to connect. And I'm your fellow film servant, Mr. Carlos de la Torre, giving you a writing, directing perspective. So thank you guys for joining us. We have Mr. Man, he's done a ton of work. You've recognized him from a bunch of films. To name a few, our producer editor geeked out on Friday Night Lights right when he came, and he was like, "Dude, love you in this." The Wonder Years, Queens, Alice, and A Land of Dreams, which is going to premiere here tonight. We have Mr. Gaius Charles. How you doing?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us.
Hell of an intro, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing. He's done so many great things that we won't have time to talk about all of it because he's done an amazing body of work. But the biggest thing we start out with is how do you get into this? How do you become a storyteller? How did you know you wanted to really jump into this crazy world?
That's good, man. I think the first thing I started doing was I did the announcements as a kid in like middle school.
The announcements?
Wow. Announcements, yes. Like
camera and all.
Like today for lunch we're gonna have blah, 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 like the announcements. Like
that's too much power at that age.
it's a lot, man. You know.
Yeah.
And so,
but no drama.
No, like so some like teacher or some principal tapped me like, hey, like go do the announcements. I was like, okay. And so I went to the announcements, and then I took my first acting class in the 7th grade.
Early.
And
wow.
Well, it's funny because people say early, but I feel like I started late. I mean, I know people who started acting at like 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Younger babies.
It's true.
There are people born acting. It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So I took my first couple of acting classes, really loved it, just kept pursuing the dream, all that kind of stuff. And I've been doing it for over 20 years now.
Wow.
And was it your parents or was it a movie that you saw or what got you into acting?
I don't know. You know what? I think it was just like seeing how it was just like being a kid and actually like imitating what I saw on TV. So like I wanted to like act out the roles I was seeing on TV, and I saw how much like everybody's watching TV, everybody's into different shows, and it's just you get hooked.
There's a confidence from like playing those roles, right? Just like
where was this? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York and New Jersey. So I was born in New York and raised in New York and New Jersey.
Okay, it's a little close to kind of a bit of an entertainment hub, obviously. So would you like to go into the city and see plays maybe once you really got into it?
You know what? I think the first time I really saw a play on like Broadway was probably like high school. Like it was, but you know, even then it was like, wow.
Still pivotal, right? I mean, it's extremely pivotal, right?
Huge. And then, you know, to your point, it's like people who are actors or filmmakers from other parts of the country, you can kind of take for granted that you're so close to New York. Like if you're from LA, like you're right there.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So that was really a blessing.
Awesome. Now, we think that anybody who contributes to cinema, to television, we're all storytellers, respectively, right? It's an extremely collaborative form. What was it that because we've been through it where you have to pound the pavement time after time, and especially actors, right, in auditions and just things. You get to know more than you get to guess. What made you want to keep going and legitimately say, you know what, I'm gonna stick to this? And was it getting this the one gig that was like, this is promising, I'm gonna keep doing this, or was it what was that?
That's such a great question.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it comes down to like faith. Like you just have to like believe that, you know. You just have to believe. You just have to believe in yourself. Believe it.
That's scary.
It's either going to be faith or fear.
Yeah,
you know, so you're going to have to decide, am I going to follow my fear or my faith?
Yeah.
And you just have to, you know, people say, fake it till you make it. I know somebody who says, faith it till you make it.
Sure.
And you have to just keep faith in it, man. Just keep faith in it, keep putting yourself out there. And keep going.
We'll touch on some of our favorite things of your body of work, but can you tell us specifically maybe if you have one or a couple of experiences that you favored in this journey? I mean, you're far from finished. You're barely getting started, I think.
Hey, come on now.
But what's something that you could tell us, like, man, you know what, when I got this specific job or when I got this specific role, I felt like I was really into this. Do you feel like there's a specific thing you favored that you had a lot of good time on?
I feel like I've had a lot of, you know, blessed with a lot of roles that I just feel like, wow, you look back and just like, oh, remember when we did that? We were filming that scene.
Right.
I think one thing that stands out continually is Friday Night Lights.
Sure.
Just because I remember like I was in New York, New Jersey, doing a thing, auditioning, sending tapes.
And 41 episodes. I mean, you were.
I was in there for a bit. OGFNL. And then I remember like it was really a God thing, man. When I got that, because I really just felt like, this part was for me. Yeah.
And you got to work with a lot of, people that came out of that show.
Yeah.
Have really,
sure.
All of you have really done, you've been very successful in your field. So do you have any stories from the set that you could tell? I'm sure you have plenty, but.
Absolutely. We joke, we've done different things over the years, different fan events and film festivals and screenings and stuff. So yeah, what's really cool is, when you're in this industry, it's like there are people sometimes that you just work with and that's it. And then there's people that you work with who become like your family or your community. And so a lot of those guys and gals, like, I can still call up, we still text, we're still in touch. Yeah.
I have to ask, just because you've done quite a few, it seems like the industry, the more we talk to people who are in the industry, we're from Texas, we know a lot about the Texas film industry, but everybody's coming to either the Austins, the New Mexicos, kind of stepping away from the LAs and the New Yorks a little bit, right? So we're in New Mexico right now, and I think it's important to note that you've worked on the show that Roswell, which was this big thing here, right?
Yeah.
Even when the original and now the reboot and stuff like that. I'm sure you have a lot of stories about just being able to work in the New Mexico kind of environment and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really, so the first time I came over here, I was just like blown away by the landscape. So the way they were doing it, this is before, so I was doing a recurrent role on Roswell. And the way they're doing it was like, they're like, okay, we're going to fly you from LA to Albuquerque. You're going to get a rental car, and then you're going to drive to like Santa Fe because you're shooting in Santa Fe. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. But, I'd never been here. And so just coming in, seeing the landscape, just like, it was just different. It was just like really cool. You know what I mean?
Especially those long drives where it's just like nothing's around. You're just absorbing the atmosphere.
It's a far stone's throw from suburbia and the city, right?
Where
you grew up and stuff like that.
I like that. I like going someplace because I feel like you want to discover, you want your creative juices flowing, and I think something like that helps it.
I have to ask. We're talking about being at the Las Cruces International Film Festival, and specifically the opening film tonight is Land of Dreams.
Sure.
You got to work with a plethora of an amazing cast and directors, and we're talking Matt Dillon, Anna Gunn, we're talking to Isabella Rossellini. What was it surrounding yourself with those type of people? They've been in the industry quite a while, right?
Yeah. Well, when my role in this film is more like a cameo role. So I came in for like maybe 3 days. You know what I mean? But everybody was just so nice, just so generous. This was like fall of 2020, like back when COVID and all that kind of stuff. So this is probably like my second or third project after things had restarted during COVID. And so I was kind of learning like, okay, like when do we put on a mask? Like when do we take them off? Like
that whole shift on COVID protocols.
Like you can't stand next to
people. Were we all shooting predominantly, or at least
we were? So I was shooting in Albuquerque.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So I got a question. I got like a 2-parter.
Okay.
Out of your whole films, which is a hidden film that people don't know that you really liked? And then the second part, where you're thinking that, what's a role that you want to do? Maybe for any producer, director's looking. Two tough questions.
Man.
Because everybody knows you Friday Night Lights.
Sure.
What's a role that you really like?
You got, if you've ever seen even like Drunk History, you got to play Ali, you got to play like this is
real talk, man. Like low key though, like when they call me, they're like, "Hey,
Drunk History,
I want you to like consider this. Would you be open to it?" I'm like, "Yes, like let's do it."
Who doesn't love Drunk History? But just as an example,
right? Sure. Yeah, there've been a ton of roles like that.
That was definitely one.
I did a movie. Low key, like Land of Dreams is one of those movies where it's it just. People are like, they're watching it, and I don't come in until like, no spoilers because it's been out a while, but I don't come in until like, 2/3 into the movie.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think it's really cool when somebody's watching something and then all of a sudden like an actor pops up they didn't expect.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
beautiful.
Now, what about something you feel like you want to play, you know, coming down the line or something you may have in the works?
I love biopics, man.
Biopics.
I really love biopics.
Ooh,
And there's so many biopics that I would want to do. So many.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Give us one that you feel like, you know what?
Ah,
Sidney
okay.
Poitier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like
We just did a Sidney Poitier
Directors.
like film festival recently
Okay,
for this thing
wow.
called the Film Salon, and I saw Raisin in the Sun recently, and I mean, yeah, yeah.
Just like
That'd be an amazing role for you. I could see that. I could definitely
Yeah.
see that. In
Thank
fact,
you. All
we'll
right.
produce it
All
and
right.
direct it, and we got you. You come back
Come
out to El
on,
Paso, so we
you
can film it
know?
here. Yeah.
that tax credit, you know.
Cool. No, man. I mean, that's fantastic, and I think you're right. I think Land of Dreams is something very, very special.
Absolutely.
We like to kind of, well, I have a couple things before we wrap up, but the first one being, in terms of storytelling, you got to be surrounded by a lot of this during your career so far. Are you seeking out something outside of acting, producing, writing, directing, anything like that? Has that called?
Sure.
called to you?
Yeah. I mean, I've even many years ago, I've written things, produced things, and I think it's kind of like one thing I've learned is one of the reasons why the business is so specialized is because it takes so much to be that one thing, like that one person.
Sure.
Like it takes so much to be that actor,
That's a good point.
or that producer, or that director.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that eventually, as you go forward in your career, you just kind of naturally expand. If you want to.
Sure.
And there's some overlap. So yeah, I want to direct some more and produce some more and stuff like that.
Growth, right? Ultimately,
Nice.
it boils down to growth and finding out all of these aspects of it, right? We always like to kind of wrap up our conversation with if there's any advice you'd give to fellow storytellers, and you could either one. This is your camera specifically,
To all the
And
kids
as
right
real as
now
you
that
can.
are
Yeah.
announcing lunches,
all the youngins.
that are hoping
Inspiring
to
is always
be where
great.
you're at right now.
Inspiring is
Talking
always
to
great.
random strangers, but
Right.
Yeah.
But real is good, right? We like real. We like
Yeah, exactly.
this is how the industry is, and this is what I can offer.
Yeah, I would say, it sounds maybe kind of, you want me to do it with the camera or you want me to do it to
Either
you?
way.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, what I was talking about before, like you have to believe in yourself,
Mhm.
And I would also encourage, especially young people, like if like I said, I thought starting as an actor in the 7th grade or 8th grade was late.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't, but if you can get training, like go to drama school, whether it's like high school, like that's the thing, because when I went to college, like a lot of the people who were in my, college classes, they had been studying acting at professional schools, like
Right.
high schools and boarding schools, like all these like super elite schools for
Right.
years. So like
Did
I
you
come
feel-
in
yeah.
from like,
Yeah.
the public school route, like, man,
But
so
there's people that succeed. I mean, we like, for instance, Rachel Zegler, right? She came from doing high school drama and Shrek to Spielberg's West Side Story, right? So like,
Sure.
I don't think it matters, right, ultimately.
But I guess my advice would be like, if you really want to do it, like go all in early,
Mhm.
and then if it's not for you, you don't like it,
Right.
you can pivot. But I think it's a little bit more challenging sometimes to get to be older and then try to like get into it. It's possible. It happens all the time. It's wonderful when it does. But if you really get that bug early, just go for it. Just believe in yourself, go for it, give it your all and see what happens.
Awesome. I mean, that's some amazing advice.
I like
Guys,
that.
I don't know if there's anything that you guys want to ask or...
I do, but I think they're just kind of like, hey, something's
You
next.
wrap up.
there's kind of a line of people that we got to get back in here, but I'm sure the screenings are going to be fantastic tonight, and you're going to get nothing
Such
but
a cool
amazing
guy, man.
feedback.
Yeah,
'cause the
thanks for
film is
giving us your
terrific.
time.
But,
Really appreciate it.
Gaius Charles, thank you. Check out all of his work because it's amazing, and there's going to be something you like. It's very special, and we're going to produce a Mandela effect or something. It'll be fine. We'll bring him out. It'll be fine. But thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate you. Thanks so much.